we have no. This week's a bland week. No.
Yeah.
L&L, and Mike couldn't even make it Wednesday, so no L&L Wednesday and no game for me on Thursday because of.
Then I'll try and do a mapping live stream Wednesday.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
So we can cover that time slot. We can keep it. Yep. So
Very cool.
Yeah, I hope that Linda can do it. If not, then I'll do it myself just to.
Awesome.
Yep. Before I promise that I need to check my calendar, but I normally I make sure that I'm.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're not.
Yeah, no, I normally don't plan anything on Wednesdays because of it, so I'm away to the consulate on Thursday, so yeah.
Everyone's doing well tonight.
Yeah, oh, I need to log into chat instead.
Yeah. Should be good. I'm almost done getting all my shout outs out and we should be good to go. Okay. Hey, Doc, Mike Disney, fan 491, Mymore, 4th, long shot, Baby. Hey, good to see you all as we're getting ready to come in here.
Yep.
Good to see everyone. Hope everyone's well. Okay. What time we got here? 50, so I'll run this. Here comes Will. Run this and I'll cut this one a little short. Hey, hello. Hey, Lando, Raz. Will.
Hi.
You ready to give up some dirty tricks, Will?
Always.
Always.
We're still talking about Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Well, we can do some other ones too. They might be useful as well.
Yeah. I got a couple.
That's good. Yeah.
Pick a different background.
Oh, I love your backgrounds. You always have cool ones. Yeah. Oh, I love that illustration. It's so good.
What's up, Naz?
Yeah, I'm a big Trampier fan.
Yeah,
and it's one of the.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, it's like a hidden gem because it's not one of the big iconics, but it's really an
Back in the Monster
iconic. But
Manual. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But it's often overlooked because it's
Thanks.
never been on a cover or anything. But I think it's one of the best ever in D&D history.
I did a replica of it for my T-shirts.
Awesome.
So, you know, as somebody was telling me the other day, it's like I do, and I make all these T-shirts. I should have some of my own T-shirts to wear.
Yeah.
I don't, but I should.
It's good. It's good promotion, man.
Yeah. Adam was actually busting my chops about that. the other day. He bought some of my
Join
shirts
the
and
fray.
was wearing them. I was like, oh, I guess I should do that.
Hey, darling, are you feeling better, darling? Hopefully you're feeling
hope so.
better. I know you were
Yeah, I
feeling
hope so.
better earlier in the week.
Yep.
Because this is gonna be a fun one for us DMs, where we get to Mac can see it. Yep. So
Well, it's always fun when we're on here, man. What are you talking about?
yeah. This is and with Tim eventually joining us too, the evilness will come out pretty good. So I'm going to send a message to one other person, but I highly doubt they'll be on. They did not go to Blue Box Con like he said he was. So
I thought Blue Box Con was a little whiles ago.
yeah, it was this weekend.
Oh, this weekend. Well, I was way off. I thought it was a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's funny. I ran into him this yesterday morning when I ran that special game for Nerdy Guide to D&D.
Ah, okay. Shows how much I need to get-
Dude, everyone's got
Warren-
stuff going
Warren,
on,
you know.
man.
Yeah.
That's enough of that ad. Get me new ads, Chuck. Hey, Dave. Got your dice packed up, Dave, from yesterday morning. They're going out. It's going out tomorrow, so you'll have it
Yeah.
by Wednesday.
Yep. Deep. Yep.
It is.
Let's see what we got here. Awesome. Thanks,
Wow.
Will.
I'm at 11 months now.
Yeah, you're at 11 months on this account. That tells you how far, because you were doing like at 45, 50 months on this.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't subscribe for. Although there was like a hiccup or two in there, but it was up there. So
Every time I hiccup on that one, then Patrick gets it.
I know, right? That's all I need.
Yeah.
So the Nazrat's on. He's the longest outside of my friends. He's at 56 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it's going,
Yeah,
man.
56
Yeah.
is the longest out there. Mike Disney's at 38. Enoch 32. It's crazy, man. Darling's at 22. That's awesome. So, yeah. Hold it high, man. Look at how far you've come since you came on as that young, wet behind the ears 5e DM. And you're like, what the hell is this with all these old farts on here? And we were old then 5 years ago. You show you how freaking old we are now.
Yeah, exactly.
I like to think wiser, Jay.
Yeah, I know. Just
Hopefully that too. Yeah.
busting my own stones.
No, I was talking with somebody on Facebook on the Greyhawk group about. I had a picture of, in the new Star Wars movies, those crappy ones, but they have Luke Skywalker and he's on an island, like he's like milking stupid animals and stuff like that. But it's a really
Okay.
cool looking scenery. It's an island in.
Oh, it's outside Ireland. Yeah.
exactly.
With all the
The
stairs
tides are
going
so
down.
high, yeah. And
Yeah. And there's like old monasteries there and stuff, and there's this picture of all these like stairs and stuff and whatnot. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, wouldn't it be cool to go there? And I was like, yeah, it would be when I was like 20.
Yeah, man.
It's like, I don't know how much I could do there. It's like, I'd give it a shot, but it might take me half a day to get up this
Yeah,
one
I haven't
flight of
got
stairs.
all the stairs, but I've sailed past there in a yacht
Yeah,
around
it's-
this island, around Ireland. Yeah,
So
Yeah,
Will,
it's pretty cool looking.
it's gorgeous. Those some of the islands out there are beautiful. There's some mountains that just like the Fair Islands, they stick out
Right.
like 1,000 feet straight up. Yep.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome stuff.
no, Mac, that's June 11th. That's June 11th. Eric Mona is going to be co-hosting with me instead of Anna. Anna will be in Sweden with James Jacobs is on, and Eric Mona is going to co-host with me that night. So, yeah, that's June 11th. Will, remind me to tell a story of old, which happened with Tim and Walt when we went to Breckenridge, Colorado for Tim's wedding, and when we were marching up a hill there. You can
I will definitely. I know Breckenridge.
Yeah. So when Tim got married, I think it was '94. He got married there, and something happened to me climbing up a hill, and that was 30 years ago.
How'd you do with the altitude?
That's part of it. Yeah, that's part of what happens. Yeah.
That's
Dirty.
one thing I could definitely tell living here. It wasn't a big deal. After I had COVID, however, I could tell.
You can feel it.
I could feel it. So I was like, oh, okay.
Coming live.
Yeah, you're in Denver, right? So you're really high up. Yeah.
Yeah, mile high. So.
Breckenridge is
Yeah.
higher though.
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the Denver is the mile high, and that's not even foothills. That's the beginning of
Hmm.
where it starts to roll out.
That's
into the
level
eastern
ground in
plains.
that area.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's where it starts going out into the eastern plains and stuff like that. So like if you get
Yeah.
up into the mountains, forget about it.
Mhm.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? Welcome to another great Gabbin show, number 249. DMs. Greyhawk campaign development. Monsters and other dirty tricks. Yes, and Tim will be joining us whenever Tim can join us. So I got William Henry Dvorak with me and Anna Meyer. And yes, Big Mac. Anna won't be on the weekend, starting around June 6th on when she's in Sweden, right, Anna?
Mhm. Yeah, I will see if I can make it on some show, but I will definitely not make it on all of them. So yeah,
But Eric Mona has been kind enough to
that
say he
is
would co-host with
wonderful.
James Jacobs. So
Yep.
hey, all right. So we're going to give away a couple Troller Games $10 digital gift certificates tonight. Please feel free to exclamation point drawing. It should be on and working
Yep.
now. All right. There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Gaetano. Yep.
And note the following too, Gaetano. Thank you for being on that show. I was on an interview just an hour ago by a really neat little Mexican Twitch channel where the host, she speaks English, Spanish, and Portuguese, which is pretty impressive.
Rock on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Phobo was her name, and she did a great job. And I will be. And here's the. Yeah, let me go over to this. So it'll be.
I
on
wish I
YouTube.
could remember that dude's name.
Which
That
one?
had the one that the longest running D&D campaign.
Robert Wardlaw.
Yeah. See, I can never remember.
I told the
his
freaking
name.
story.
Because then I can't do the zinger. I'm like, oh, did they think you were Robert Wardlaw?
Yeah. I told him about Robert Wardlaw. So.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alex, thanks. I'll let that one slip because Chuck, Chuck hasn't given me that video ad yet, so I'll let that one slip. So I was on that, and it'll be on YouTube, and it was on their Twitch channel as well. So, but thank you, Gaetano, for doing some commentary and questions on that stream. It was nice to have. So tonight, I've been like running behind on topics, and I'm playing and I didn't have one as of Saturday morning because I was so worried about. We had the game Thursday night with all that terrain, right? All the new stuff we had on the table. And then I got to switch it over for Saturday mornings to get all the ads out and everything. And then Saturday morning, I'm running, the one, I got a fox woman in here, right? Which is a huge dirty trick of all, the kidnap the half-elven girl, 5 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a great topic. Monsters and other dirty tricks. So, that's how I came up with the topic tonight, within 24 hours. So thank you, Gaetano. It was a great game. And they were very generous and they were very kind courteous players, and I'm definitely going to have them back. And the Nerdy Guide to D&D. It was a great game, and the Avenger, she cast every single spell she had, and that's what I always try and do.
Woohoo.
Is every spell she had to use. So, Will, what's your thoughts on this topic? And then Anna, what are your thoughts?
I'm a dirty DM, so
That's awesome.
I pride myself on doing things in my campaigns that make my players squirm. You know, if it's something, especially storyline, it doesn't have to necessarily be just like mechanical and combat or anything like that. So it's it doesn't have to be intentional, but I'll definitely play it up. So
Nice.
yeah, Adam one time had a ex-slave was his character, and then there was a whole section of the campaign where they were dealing with the this kingdom of dwarves that worshipped Abathor, and they had a race of Goliaths that worked for them that were former slaves, but they were really just brainwashed, and they liked being there and working for the dwarves, and they like wore their collars as, you know, representations of how, you know, we used to be, we're not anymore. And he's like, yeah, but can you go do whatever you want? And he's like, but why would we? And it's just, you know, just things to mess with. And he's like, I gotta free all these people. It's like, but they don't want to be freed. You know? So
That's awesome. I'm going to ask some questions on some other instances. You know, and we can really get some into weeds ideas out for all you DMs out there, or maybe not, or maybe you're like, I don't want to do that, you know. But there's a lot of monsters are set as traps, right? Tricks and traps, and I think you know, that's how where it starts. But it can go on to stuff that doesn't have to include monsters. So Anna, what are your initial thoughts here?
For me, it's I try to not use the rules for dirty tricks, so to speak, because I want the rules to be the same for me as for the players. So meaning the monster should play by the same rules as the characters do. But on the other hand, when it comes to the general game stories and more things that aren't rules mechanics, that's when I play real dirty. So so I can be real bad, so to speak, and I will have a list of examples on
Nice.
stuff that I play on the players and the characters. So yeah.
Very cool.
rust monsters are great dirty.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Do you see the one where it's like, okay, so there's a box, and the box is chained up, and there's a slit in it, and it says, for experience, stick your sword in the slit.
And no one tests and figure out what the box is made out of.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And then inside is
It's a mithril
That's
box
mean.
or something, and no one
yeah,
figures that
inside
out.
is the rust monster, and it's like, oh, a snack.
that is great.
I think I got that from somebody. I'm pretty sure it was off of a cartoon in one of the
It's a
dragons.
dragon, I think, yeah, but that's for experience.
Yeah.
There's some kind of creature inside. But hey, put a
Right.
rust monster in there instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, disenchanters. Yeah, the thing, there would be an awfully big box. Disenchanters are huge. Yeah, that's another good one too. That second generation of tricky. I haven't used my rust monsters lately. And disenchanters are, you know, I haven't used them. Another there's, if you want that realm of dirtiness, there's a monster that is so dirty. I don't know if 5th edition changed it, but if it looks at you, you're dead with no save. And that's a Catapulibus, right? Did I say that right? The thing with the long neck.
Caterpillars, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it looks at you directly, you're
The cow.
Yeah, the cow with the long neck.
Yeah,
The cow with
it's
the long neck.
Yeah.
Moo.
Yeah.
You're
But
dead.
yeah, but it's one of these. And to me, I really like the Caterpillars because it's one of these monsters. If you have a world where there are dragons and all sorts of nastiness that come and hunt almost anything, the prey needs to be like the Caterpillars, meaning don't mess with me.
For sure.
Yeah, so you need to upgrade. That is often forgotten, that you only upgrade the predators in the environment. They become more and more fierce and bigger and whatever, but they still eat the regular little deer and moose and antelopes or whatever it is, and meaning, come on, they would never survive. So that, well, you need to upgrade the upgun that there too. So I think that fills a niche, that type of monster. So yeah.
Well, if it exists in 5e, it was
Skagith!
because
Yeah.
there is no instant death in 5e. So
You will get a
Oh.
paralyzed
Boo.
condition or something. So yeah, not insta death. So yeah.
I guess I think some
Yeah.
things should still just always be that deadly.
Well, you have the disintegration spell or finger of death and stuff. Some of those are still fairly nasty. So yeah, but not
It's
as
like,
nasty as they used to be. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Not to edition bang or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, see, I talk like this, but if people don't realize is that I think so currently I like 5th edition the best when it's homebrewed. That's the exception.
Yeah.
It's got to be homebrewed. When
Yeah.
it's homebrewed, I think it's great. If
Yeah,
it's not
I don't.
homebrewed, I'd
Yeah.
prefer 1st edition or
Yeah.
the my boy Scruffy Grognard's
Yeah.
version.
Yeah, but in this case, I think it ties into the dirty tricks. I think the dirty tricks is to have these spells not do outright kill, but they should paralyze and cripple so bad that someone will come and mercy kill the character afterwards, so to speak. So that's the instead of insta death, so to speak, it should be insta near TPK death, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. That then you have it, have it more set good, and that works in both ways because that gives villains a chance to escape even the worst spells too. So yeah.
I think one of the best ways to do dirty tricks depends. If you got players that are new, you don't really have to do this because they don't know. If you got players who are old school, been around the block for a long time, one of the best dirty tricks is just changing stuff. Real simple things like all dragons are green. Something like something like that, and it's like because they've memorized so many different things, or then you start combining and switching out the characters' abilities, the monsters' abilities and stuff like that.
And that's one of the I wouldn't maybe not putting in the column of the dirty tricks, but I think it's one of the tricks to make the game that it can almost fall into it. I put my monster descriptions and environmental descriptions and stuff catered to the character, not to the player. So if someone has played for 25 years, if they play a newbie, I would hold out a lot of details because that character doesn't know it, so to speak, and vice versa. If you play an arch wizard who've been through and have arcane sight in the dream, so to speak, they will not miss little details. But if you're that fledgling little wizard who just cast your first spell, you can walk into whatever trap, so to speak, and not know it. But that is kind of dirty in a way. That it's one of the tricks that I like to use it because I think it brings more atmosphere into the game.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm putting something up. So I want to go to one. I have to because I almost forgot this one. I just go to this. By the way, Skagith, I hate to tell you, I appreciate the raid, but one of the players from Nerdy Guide had a fighter. It's like 25% orc, but he's a human, right? And he like is Cain now, and he like walks the earth, so he's a monk. So I was like, this guy, I was afraid to tell him that someone is playing a monk in a new game. But so Gary Khan comes around. Yes, Gary Khan comes around, and I'm like, what am I going to do it to Ed in person? Because I've never met Ed Greenwood in person, right? And Anna's there, Eric Menge's there, Bill Meinhardt and Andrew Valkauskas are playing, right? So I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? Ooh, Ed always talked about these monsters. So this is an old dragon's bestiary, the Bleeder, right? So Ed creates this monster that looks like a beholder, because he's like, everyone thinks it's a beholder or a Gaspor, but this thing has nothing to do with a beholder at all, and it like sucks the blood out of these tentacles. And this is by Ed, and this is I think this was written before Forgotten Realms was even published. That's how old this was.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm gonna use this old monster against Ed, and so I go to Bill. I go, Bill, I need this figure, and he finds one that looks like it and does it all up, and I take it, and there, and like, I immediately hop it in, and Ed's like he got like orgasmic excited about two things that game. And one was like, you're using my Bleeder. He knew exactly what it was. And I was like, oh, and Bill Meinhardt's like, yeah, I remember reading about that. So, but that's the thing. There are monsters out there like this that are turning the table, like the trickery monsters. And that's what this is.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks,
Yeah. But I think that the idea behind
Bill.
Bleeder is good, not only because it's kind of a way to hide and disguise beholders, but I also think it might make sense to have a series of creatures in the world that beholders come from, so to speak. So
Yep.
to have because meaning you can have the origin story of a beholder can either be like it's some wizard or god or something just created a weird freak monster with enormous amount of magical powers. That's one way of looking at it. But you can also say, what if these creatures evolved biologically, so to speak, meaning that then means that there should be a whole family of related creatures with different abilities and so on and so forth. And I kind of like the later, or you can make a combination. You can say, what, meaning instead of the wizard coming up with this creature from scratch, maybe he took one creature from that lives down in deep caves or whatever and converted it and tempered with it and then made it into or a god or something. So I kind of like that, to put a little bit of biology and evolution into the fantasy mix there, and that way you can have things like bleeders and gas spores and all sorts of stuff.
I just got an idea for new monster.
Oh,
okay, good.
A Medusa beholder.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. I always thought
I can turn you to stone. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, because one
Yeah.
of the little mini eye stalks is supposed to have flesh of stone
Yep.
on it.
And I was thinking, what about
reason
tiny
why.
beholders, beholderlings? How do they reproduce? Do they reproduce? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
there's got to be little babies that are cute to be turned into plushies.
Yeah, but like one little eye stalk.
Every year they get another eye stalk.
Exactly, they get one more or something like that. So or just an eyeball to begin with, or something. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
But it comes up in discussion, like there are only so many monsters in the Monster Manual, Fiend Folio Monster Manual 2. So mini beholders with 2 eye stalks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
there are some like
Mm-hmm.
and Ed talks about how he created the what's the one I just used? It's the real small one. Oh my God, Bill, help me here. That we used the one adventure with Ed. He's like, well, I wanted them to be different. Now we know the Spectator was created by Len Lakofka.
Yeah.
So but there's the spectators are awesome. The gazers, they're real small.
Oh.
But there was another one, Goths, Gauth, the Goths, which are a little different. But changing it up on monsters is a way to have is definitely a dirty trick, right? It definitely is, and you can only change a beholder into a gas spore so many times. Because the gas spore is just floating around, So but that's one. I love the monster types like cockatrice, right? That's good.
Yes,
that's a good one. A chicken, roughly a chicken that's going to turn you to stone. So there's a reference somewhere that they lay eggs. Okay.
Yeah, to me sounds also like
you have the cockatrice living in the hen coop.
Oh,
with the chickens.
Without
the
turning.
chickens, the chickens for some reason are immune
to it. Oh my gosh!
But is that at will? So the cockatrice might not have the intention of turning them into stone or something.
Right? It's possible. That's a good. Wow, that's really.
What if it's an intelligent cockatrice?
Well, some intelligence that might have enough to know who they like or not, so to speak. Meaning you don't. It doesn't take much intelligence.
It likes the farmer because the farmer brings them out.
Exactly. Yep.
See, that's the kind of trick that you would play on a group that are a bunch of murder hobos. Yeah. Something like that. You surprise them with a little bit of, it's like, oh, you come up to the farm. It's like normally they run roughshod over it. And it's like the farmer's like, hold on, let me get my chicken for you.
Then they and he's perfectly fine as long as the farmer is there calming it.
Right? Exactly.
Well, were you just trying to sound like a guy from Deliverance right there?
Sure. Did I do it?
That was awesome. Yeah. So you got you have your tropes of traps. The number one, like some of them, the ear seekers on every door. That gets annoying, right? All right. That's just like, for me, I had a situation going way back, and I don't know if Greyhawk Mike's on, but Mike played in the game. One of the first special event games I ever did with a friend of his who played, and that person would kick open every door without even checking it. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna trap every door.
There you go.
I shut every single door and kicked open during that adventure. I know you may have played on that one too. It was with it was with Scott Casper, remember? And he was kicking
Oh
open,
yeah.
he kicked open
Yeah.
every door.
I also remember we played with the old LG module with Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was so many doors and stuff in it. It was
Yeah. So that's you could do that kind of stuff. Glyphs of Warding are great. Oh, Robert Hartley, monster.
Oh, welcome,
Robert. Great to see you, man, and crew.
Yeah.
We're talking. So thank you. We have some giveaways tonight, so please follow and hit !point drawing to get eligible to them. Great to see all the new faces in here. Thank you so very much, Robert. You're a great, I mean, just a legend in what you're doing now. I really appreciate all that you do for the community. I'm trying to find your shout out here. I know I have it here. There it is. I still have it programmed in. So, thank you, everyone. So, !Point drawing, some $10 gift certificates to Troller Games, and we will. We're really appreciative of Robert, you doing that. So we're talking monsters and DM's dirty tricks tonight. I got William Henry Dvorak with me, and I have Anna Meyer with me, and we have ever mysterious Tim may be joining shortly, and so we're just going around the gamut here. So yeah, I mean, Glyphs of Warding are great. They're a great trap because I don't know how you do this. I want to get your opinions on this. Can a thief detect a Glyph of Warding? And I say yes, and they go, but it's magical. There's nothing I can do about it. So that's it. Like, I know there's something here, but I can't figure out what it is. What is your opinion on that?
Well, if you want to go that route, I mean, some of the thieves' abilities are kind of almost magical in themselves, too, depending on what edition you're in. I mean, use magical devices. I mean, how come we can do that? Or, you know, read languages and stuff like that. So I'm not too upset about them being able to see Glyphs of Warding.
Okay.
But for me, they can see it, but they need to actively seek for it, meaning they need to spend actions on it.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so you drain, meaning especially during combat or when things get iffy, so to speak, that means they need to spend an action doing it, but they do nothing else, so to speak, and that's the key. The same thing with this kind of. If you want to disbelieve illusions and stuff like that, you need to spend an action doing it. So not just like, oh, I'm saying it, now I'm doing it. You have to actually spend an effort doing it.
Yeah, I'm big too on them not knowing what they're seeing a lot of times.
Yeah, and you can be ambiguous a little bit and stuff. So but
so
they should definitely be able to detect it. Yes.
For me, it is. They can detect it, and they're like, but they can't disarm it or anything like that. And that's where you need to dispel magic. So, but
sorry.
There is no use magic device in old school, right? Well, there's none of that. So, I mean,
when you're in third, it is, but before that, there's not.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Now, in first edition, thieves can use scrolls at 10th. Right, they have a spell failure percent, but they can use druidic, illusionist, and magic user scrolls at 10. They can't use clerical; it's one they can't use. So that is part of the innate part of a thief class. And then
don't they say that comes out of the be able to read language thing? Isn't that what?
It kind of, yeah. That's how they get that thing. I don't have a problem. It's so rarely used, but it does happen in my game occasionally. But you know that. The Glyph of Warding is a good. If you have a thief who's so paranoid and checking traps all the time, depends on how your game. They're not setting that off. I mean, you know, so you can do that with a dirty trick.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna celestial. What? I think it comes from Fafner and the Grey Master.
But that's one of the things I like in 5e. You have passive detections and stuff. So you could simply. I would just go around and if you have a rogue or someone with really high passive. They will see something, and I would definitely let them disarm it. But if it's like a Glyph of Warding that goes off with a bang or some other stuff, that means that they can disarm it without getting hurt. But the thing is that it might still be valuable for the enemy, whoever put it there, because it might still bang or flash or whatever it does, so to speak. So it might still be useful, even if you disarm it. It might still be valuable for the enemy, so to speak.
That's why you have a bag full of live chickens.
Yeah.
To set off traps and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're never sneaking up with a bag of live chickens, right? 'Cause
No, you're not
you know?
doing that.
Yeah. Oh
That's
my
the henchman's
gosh.
got the henchmen in the back. They got the
Yeah.
chickens. And when
Oh
you
my
need them, you
God.
bring them up.
And that's one of the
that's
dirty
funny.
tricks, meaning don't only put a glyph of warning to where it's needed in order to protect the enemy. Make sure you put them a little bit out in random locations. So that way, especially if it's like a dungeon or whatever, so you can hear if someone is walking out of somewhere or something like that. Someone is just wandering around a little bit out in the forest around it, so to speak. So you can kind of, it's a way for the enemy to keep an eye on what's going on if something is going on. So yeah.
So is when the DM rolls, because I do this all the time.
Oh,
when
you
the
just
DM
roll random rolls like that?
Yeah, when the
Oh,
DM
yeah.
just rolls for no
Yeah.
reason and then doesn't say anything, is that a dirty trick?
Yeah, it is. But the problem is that's one of that doesn't work that well in digital online game. It works so well at the table, but when you online, it obscures a lot of the stuff. You can't sit and do things secretly on the side and players seeing it. It becomes more upfront. So that's one of the problems with playing online.
What I do is I am not a proponent of player facing. Some things, sure, but I like to roll dice. Don't take rolling dice away from me. But in these situations, that's how I do it. I just pick somebody out and go, do me a favor, roll me a d20.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then it's like, well, what for? To go, just make sure you roll high. You know, and then that's you just leave it alone and you make them do the roll. And it means nothing, and you go about your way.
And that's one of the things. I have players make their rolls, perception, all sorts of stuff, but I'm not necessarily telling them what they're rolling. I'm just saying roll and make a check, and then depending on if it's high or low, I can say, well, it was your stealth check, and you realize that you're stepping on stuff that it sounds like crazy if they roll a 1 or something. So and stuff. So yeah.
It's the newer players it works better. The paranoid roll, right?
Right.
You know, so like with Nerdy Guy yesterday, they're hey, you want to use potions, you got to test them. So Malik, the bounty hunter, he sips one. I said, well, make your save versus poison. He's like, oh, God. And I just said, well, I just made you roll for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, and so get him
thank you, Dirty Dwarf. And I agree. I agree that the passive perception is one of the really good inventions in 5e, that you have a passive perception on things. Yeah.
And make sure to break it down into the different senses when you're doing it.
Exactly.
A giveaway, it's like you smell blah blah blah, you hear blah blah blah, you know, and just give them information, especially to the ones you should always have their, like if you're playing 5e, you should have whatever their perception, their passive perception is, and just go off of that.
And always remember that the passive perception is always on, even when you make an attempt, which means that you will not roll under it. So you can't fumble a perception in 5e. That's one of the drawbacks of having a passive perception. But you can, so and sometimes I let the players roll, and if they play with I fumbled, I'm not going to say against it. That's one of my dirty tricks. So even if the rules are that way, then I'll sometimes, if the player plays like they fumble a perception check, I'm not going to tell against them, so to speak. So
Samwise, he just put in one of the best ones. Wishes. I like giving players wishes and then twist them. Oh my gosh!
Yes. Yeah, but that's a classic. In really classic. So a good one.
See, that hardly ever comes up when I run.
I haven't tweaked. I'm not smart enough to pull that off.
Because
that's my thing.
I don't give wishes out, and I have rarely had
a
campaign that has been at that level.
I think I've only done it when there was like a wish that was tied into a poem and it was tweaked, so there were different versions of it, and they had to guess or whatever, something like that. That was one of the. I forgot exactly how it was done, but it was something I put together. But that's one of the few times I've been smart and used a wish and kind of screwed it up. But normally
you're smart all the time, man.
I'm not so sure about that part, but yeah.
I got a player to accidentally wish to be a slave to a man forever. Well, that would be a bad day.
Yeah.
Forever's a
Well,
long
yeah.
time.
hmm
That's
Well,
like,
yeah. Sorry.
no, I'm saying that's like the Five Doctors. Man, guy wished for immortality, then they put him in the stone and just he's immortal
Yeah.
forever. But
Yeah. Yeah. Something obvious like, but I don't want to
oh,
be devil's advocate too much. To me, it will be depending on who's giving them the wish. If it's just like some monster of some sort that has a wish capability, or like a demon lord or devil, of course I will try and be as nasty as I could be. But if they're given it by as a reward from a good god or something, no, I wouldn't. Then I would try and
Yeah.
fulfill it in a more. It will be. But I've used maybe I've used like 4 or 5 wishes in 40 years, like once every decade or something on average in my gaming. So yeah.
I've noticed as well that when people do wishes, they don't put a time frame on it. Just because they wish for it doesn't mean it's got to pop into reality right then.
Good point.
That's a dirty trick. That was the dirtiest trick I've heard so far. That's mean and awesome. So yeah, at the same time. Yep.
Great ones.
Yep.
Great audience participation today. Thank you so very much for that. So wow. All right. Let's just go to another monster one to get you thinking. All right. Here we go. Oh, it's Pleasant Cash.
Oh, there you have it. That's a classic. Yeah.
All right. If you know where's this from, everyone? You can tell it's numbered.
From Feed Folio, I think.
This is actually the button. This is actually
not Tomoe-chan.
Yeah, Gitano got it. It's your favorite adventure, Anna.
Oh, it's 3. Okay.
Expedition to the Barrier Peaks.
Yep.
That's
okay.
it.
Yeah, in the whole hydroponics area.
Yeah, you used one not too long ago,
I did.
if I remember correctly.
I did actually, yeah, and yeah. So
see, this is a good example of one that you change up, because if you ever tell people, it's like you see a rabbit. And they go, is it on a stump?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I really, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Basically, what I did once was essentially there was a rabbit, and the rabbit was on a stump, and they come over and they're like, okay, well, we're going to do this, do that. And then the rabbit was the rabbit from Monty Python.
So it was the Vorpal Bunny.
The Vorpal Bunny, and it was a real stump. And I had its stats. I gave it a bunch of hit points. And
God!
Natural 20 on its hip, like and then off went your head. And so I just they of course killed it, but the whole thing is like they spent 10 minutes trying, getting their plan together. And then I was like, okay, is that your plan? Great. It jumps off and just starts coming over to beat that ass.
Yeah, I believe it or not, Will, my first, and I'm trying to find it, and I'll probably crash the stream doing this. My first ever raid vid, before I was using Legends of the Seekers, was the run away from after they like 3 or 4 of them got killed. And I'm trying to find it in this mess I have of all these GIFs I have mixed together. But yeah, that is that. Oh, here it is. Is this one? Is this it? Oh, this is when they're charging into the Vorpal Bunny.
Oh yeah.
Charge.
Yeah, I don't know if I had the runaway one here. So yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is also a monster that I think is better than that. First when I saw it, I was like, this is kind of just weirdo monster. But actually, I kind of like the inspiration, because in nature, in real world, you have a lot of mimicry, meaning things pretend to be something else. But in the real world, it's usually on the level of insects and flowers and small things. It's not on the level of so this is basically just taking what happens in the real world among insects and flowers and on the small level, so to speak, on the tiny level, and just upscale it, and then it becomes super cool, so to speak. So you I think you could create a lot of cool mimicry monsters that meaning that pretend to be something else in order to catch prey, so to speak, which this is an example of. And that is something that you can use a lot, lot more, and I think it could be really, really, really cool.
I love how in the picture you can see there's the one eye in the upper right.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then over onto the left, down towards the
Yep.
left corner.
Yep.
Yep.
mhm.
Here
Yep.
he comes to save the day. It's the ever
Hello.
mysterious
Hello.
Tim.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? We're talking about wolf in sheep's clothing right now, and
Yep.
other.
I love that.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yep.
So S3 is kind of, as Anna says, does it belong in Greyhawk, Cal?
Yes, it does.
I think it does because it's
brought some great
it's been
monsters.
there and it's part of Greyhawk
Right.
fan or like lore, so to speak,
Part of the
official
lore
and
for
stuff.
sure,
Yeah,
man.
it's just me being stubborn and bastard and weeded out of my Greyhawk, so to speak. So
Yeah.
so
Your
yeah.
sci-fi's in my fantasy. Your
Yeah.
fantasy's in my
Yep.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it should. It's a big part of Greyhawk lore and old stories and stuff. So yeah.
So here's another one from Expedition to Barrier Peaks, which a lot of people. This is really, it's not monster status, but it just says that it goes right. And this is called Boring Grass. Ah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that pain. Holy jeez.
Yeah, that's you got to have that because if you could imagine the red shirt guy on Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right
As
through.
it should be.
Yeah.
Well, anyone who fallen into nettles can.
It's a great picture too.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, nettles are they're awful. Yep, hurt
So.
like hell. Yep.
Yeah, that's such a But so and there's a lot of them like this. And monsters like the frog hemoth comes from there, the vegapygmy comes from there. There's a lot of classic
The
monsters.
Roomvarax.
Oh, that's right, the
Yeah.
Roomvarax comes from
That's
there
where it
too.
comes from. There shouldn't be found anywhere else in Greyhawk except there.
Well, until
Okay,
it
the
leaves the
Roomvarax.
ship and breeds out. Yeah, the Roomvarax
Yeah.
is like a little badger with 8 legs and 1,200 pounds.
Right, it's from a heavy gravity world, so
Yeah.
that it's like dense.
Yeah. But just like anything, this is one instance where Tim or Alan didn't abuse the rules. Right? So you know what I'm talking about? So,
No.
well,
Oh, using their Roomvarax.
yeah. So
That's Walt's thing. That was Walt's thing.
that was what. See, you remember now. A quick story. Fortress Elendar, which is on my wall of fame. It's a third-party publication. There's something in there called Prometheus clay, and you can shape the clay into a naturally occurring monster or naturally occurring animal, bear, or whatever, and utilize it until it gets killed. It's almost like a Figurine of Wonders Power, right? One of those.
That's cool.
But he started doing it into a Roomvarax, and I didn't stop it at first. Right? It's
It's
a 12 hit die.
because where
Yeah.
did I actually remember that? Because I
Yeah.
remember going, where did he ever run into one of those?
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
know what it is?
Yeah, so that was my bad on that one. So yeah, but
Back when Jay was all nice and friendly.
I thought I'm more nice now. I really think I'm more nice now. Tim.
People get delusional when they get old.
Yeah, I guess
it's
so.
okay.
Yeah.
We soften up with age.
They say the memory's the second thing to go.
All right, Tim, you just hopped on. Give me a dirty trick, monster or otherwise, and we'll hit Anna after the you. What do you got?
Nilbogs.
Oh, well, come on.
Oh, yeah,
Alan's-
they are.
Alan hates them worse than anything, Anna.
Nilbogs are. Oh yeah.
Nilbogs.
Yep,
Nilbogs.
they're good ones.
Yeah, I'm pretty yeah, exactly. Guest players, I'm really gentle to them. Dirty, yeah,
Dirty.
absolutely. So,
Dirty. Dirty tricks. I think
Yeah.
pixies are really
Yes.
awesome for that.
because they become visible at will. They're normally
Right,
invisible.
right, and their illusions are fantastic. It's almost their illusions are border on like hallucinatory terrain. Like
Mhm.
or
and
yeah,
if they're mean, they can have you walk right off a cliff or run into trees, and you won't know what's going on. I remember high level
Bill.
adventure. You ran into a bunch of pixies, and you were running them.
yeah.
And luckily, I figured out they were pixies, and I made them laugh. And
Wait, you know why? Because Marco got all frustrated and punched one, critical hit it, and crushed its skull.
and had a
Yeah.
character female had a girdle of some sort of giant strength. It was and not a hill giant. It was big, and so crushed it and killed it. And they were all like, so my high level dude quick did a limited wish and brought it back.
Yes,
Like,
because
this
they
thing-
all.
we
Yeah.
are in big trouble here.
What adventure was that?
I don't remember.
It's
Which
all right.
which one?
Trivia question to the audience. It's an
We're
adventure.
on the way.
Adventure was written between first and second edition that you did not know whether it was Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk. And it was in a weird little thin box set.
In the box set?
It was a box, and my box is squished right now. Yes. And it has battle system stuff in it too.
Oh, it's the
Stuff.
Yes. And it's worth like $200 if you can find one.
it's a high level because we were all high level.
Yeah.
Super high level.
Bill, don't start instigating Tim.
What are you saying?
What do you think of trappers?
Awesome.
Yeah,
Trappers
well,
are
yeah, we
great
go back.
when they're run properly.
The answer to that is Bloodstone Pass is the answer.
There we go. I couldn't remember the name of it.
Oh.
I knew what you meant when you said it.
Yeah, because it's got
But I
that little
couldn't-
thin box set. Yeah,
I
Bloodstone
couldn't
Pass.
remember the name.
It's a real mine's just flattened. I tried straightening it out, but I can't. So, some good ones that have come off of what you guys are all saying,
I'll
right?
just straighten you out.
Yeah, is oh my god, my brain just shut off. Gitano, you said one underwater. Kelpies are great for underwater.
Kelpies,
Oh.
yeah.
Kelpies are awesome. Oh, beautiful. It could be a
Nereid.
horse, a woman. You jump in, and you drown. Yeah, that's a great one too. It's a great monster one. Anna, what about you? What do you got?
One thing that I often use as a dirty tactic is that I start encounters way at much longer distance than normal, so to speak. Way longer than normal. I can start an encounter at a mile distance. They can see someone on the next hill. They see a whole bunch of them, and that is a great way for several reasons. First of all, you initiate the thing early, which means that they might start spending resources early, and you also get a chance to get their attention in one direction, either move towards them and also or have them run, so to speak. So one way of getting that I used as a dirty trick was that you showed up a bunch of enemies on one hill, on the next hill, so to speak, to make the characters run on the other way. And of course that was where the main force of the enemy was waiting. So to do it, so you can use it, or you can entice, only have like a few of them that they sit there and look the other way or something, and have the players the characters come running up to them. A classic one is that you have the enemy. There are a few enemies sitting up on the hill, and they're kind of dug in a little bit, and they're sitting there like two orcs are sitting out, and the hill is cleared, so there's no vegetation or anything on the way, and the characters, we're going to run up and do it, and then run up and do it, and then the hill gets, the main force surrounds it like half a mile away around, and there's like 200-300 around, and that's one of the nasty one. They come and close the trap once they're up there on the top, so to speak, and you can use, or there's 50 of them hidden inside and so on. So there's nasty way of doing it. So use range in a way, especially you can use it together with missile weapons too, because once you get them out in the open, then you can use missile weapons. The nastiest trick I played when it comes to range and open territory is that I lure them out into open territory with open grassland, and then have the dragon come in. Because that's when you are basically sitting ducks. So to speak. And
then he flies over and grabs a boulder.
Exactly. My dragons don't. They use the flying attacks. They don't mess. They don't come down and let you mess with it, so to speak.
Yeah.
So the only way you can do it is that you ready a spell or throwing a spear, or so you get like one pot shot missile with disadvantage because it's flying fast and stuff, and you can use a spell and you get one of them, and then the dragon comes in, and since the dragon chooses when to attack, it gets a breath weapon every time, so to speak, and a spell or something. So that way you then it's not to kill the party, it's just to wear them down. So when they are soften up enough and near TPK, that's when the dragon lands and finishes the job. So that's one of the dirty tricks. So make sure that monsters get to fight on their turf, meaning dragons, flying monsters, they don't like forests and stuff. And that's the other way around. You can also make sure that you can hide in from flying creatures in a forest. That means that in a dragon territory, to live in a forest is almost everybody needs to do it, so to speak. If you're out in the open, you will get killed almost instantly.
I do like the idea of, though, because I've done dragons this way, where the dragons are flying, but they're flying just at treetop level, so you don't get to see them until
Yep.
you're right there.
for
It
sure.
sees you.
Exactly.
So your
Yep.
whole idea of shooting them, you don't get a chance.
You get one if you ready it and you can see it, so to speak. Yeah.
Right.
And of course, he will scout it out from really high, 2 miles away, using really good vision and know where it is, and then come in really low, really fast, and snatch
It's
attacks.
like a helicopter, right?
awesome.
Like a helicopter.
I could hear this sweet complaining of the players now.
Yeah, and also give big dragons snatch attacks. They grab one figure and throw them in a lake 5 miles away. They dump them. You don't need to kill them. You just need to dump them in a lake or something 2 miles away, and that way you can leave one poor the character left, and that's when the dragon negotiate with them. And say that, would you have your treasure? Do you serve the king or something? Can I get something from you? Otherwise, your friends are dead, so something like that. That's one of the tricks.
I wanted to also add on to what Anna was saying about the whole range thing. You see them far, far away. There's that whole psychological stress of seeing them approach for a long time, and you see them and you see them, and if you have henchmen or NPCs, they might be like, what,
horses and stuff. Right. Yep.
Yeah. I did that with actually with Will with the tail of the tail of Rattlebones. Had that giant horde of
chasing
them.
It's almost like Butch Cassidy. Who are those guys in the distance,
Yeah.
so
it's not as cool.
True. This is Thursday night, and I told the group, the huntsmen, so they're getting attacked by murlocs, right? Everyone, my favorite non that's in my Greyhawk wild monster. They're all coming through the swamp, so they all run over here on this side, some outside the wall, and then I just brought them over on the other side of the wall. I mean, simple misdirection, right? They just swung around. I mean, it's that simple sometimes as a dirty trick. Or a better one, someone has a wand of enemy detection and, neutral creature that's really not an enemy.
Incorrect when you read the description of a wand of enemy detection, Jay. There's no way out of it. You DM'd Crushing Fisted it.
You didn't die. Yes, I'll never live that down. Yes, not Morlocks, BB. You know that. My Murlocs, right? The wonderful, wonderful creature from WoW. What a great one. So
what's the sound they make? Go ahead and
I have to get on my
mimic
phone.
That made worth coming on. Thank you.
And Anna, you'll be happy to know that a lot of people were watching on Thursday, and your rule, here's a dirty trick. You create rules that don't exist in the game that make sense. And this is Anna's, the swarm attack rule. So I have certain creatures now, in particular, certain types of swarming undead and murlocs, where if more than, and Bill said it should be more than 2, if 3 or more are attacking you, I allow more than the rule of 3. So say 4 murlocs are surrounded someone attacking them. They get an extra plus to hit for everyone beyond 1. So they all get plus 3 to hit. And I know someone, I think, Sam, did you say it? Someone was watching on Thursday go, I love this rule. I'm going to use it in my game tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
Yep.
So
I adopted it too. It's good.
Yeah. I think it's a rule that makes the game much more gritty, and also it makes a lot of storytelling possible. One of the problems with D&D in general, when you have bags of hit points, is that things are only vulnerable at the end. Meaning that they're invulnerable until they reach 0 hit points, so to speak. That's when all the vulnerability comes. And I want to spread that out. And one of the ways to get rid of hit points, which is kind of tricky and requires a whole operation, but by simply letting lots of enemies surround and they get a lot of pluses on things, that means that meaning a 10th level fighter can deal with one opponent like that. But if it's 10 opponents surrounding it, that's a different story. So that way you get small, tiny little things like little goblins or God forbid quicklings or something like that. Then they become much nastier if you give them the surround, like horde rules, so to speak, to do it. Yeah. I gave it to red caps once. There were like 6 red caps on really high level.
Yeah, that's a good one
They
too.
were
Red caps are good. They're smart.
They were vicious and so strong, and oh, the players were terrified. Ooh, what's that?
What's that? What?
It's coming.
My new
Okay.
dirty
Yeah.
trick that's coming.
Dungeon grappling.
Oh, I've heard about
Where'd that
that.
come from?
Now you need to explain what that is.
I bought
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
No.
I was I was on one of Lore Master Arcanum with Blue Box,
Mhm.
and the guy he had on there, Douglas Cole, had done this quite a while ago, and it's a better way of codifying grappling, and it includes kind of, it covers all edition types or game, and
Cool.
it really replicates what a like someone's grappling. It's instead of doing damage, you do control points, and there's ways you can rule it out for, like if I'm a fighter, I would roll 1d10, for my control points. If I'm a thief, I'd do 1d6.
Put it up, Tim. People couldn't see it. Right in front of your face. Dungeon grappling. Who's it by? By Douglas Cole. Okay, it is by Douglas.
Yes.
There you go. So.
Yes. And you can apply it to ropers or anything that grabs. It changes everything. And in the whole snatch thing, it changes everything. A giant, you can do the Hulk thing, grab somebody by their feet because they have so much power, and they can do the whole, slamming your head on the ground if a giant grabs you. So now a giant doesn't have to go, I'm hitting you. I'm hitting you. No, they can just grab you and sit on you, and then try to lift that, 4,000-pound fire giant off you. No, it's
Yeah, I heard about because the guy from Dungeon Musings, his YouTube channel,
David Leonard.
No, he's got a channel. He does. He had a really long running. What's the box set Underdark with no drow?
Night Below.
Yeah, he had a really long. I think it's still currently going on, but it's been going on now for like 3 years. A Night Below campaign, and that he uses that. I heard about that years ago. Actually, it's been around for a while.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was around. And what was really interesting, and of course, a little bit of sword nerdery here, is that he has actually read some of the historic masters, fencing masters, fecht books. And he was describing his stuff. He mentioned the word fecht book, and then John had said, "Well, Tim, what do you think about this?" I'm like, "He had me at fecht book," which is like
awesome.
Historical. It's a historical, and you can wrestle at the sword. So I'm excited, and that's my dirty trick, Jay.
Yep.
Stay
That's
tuned.
good
You may
stuff.
see that.
I just want to play with Devrilia and Kixano again. So, yeah, that's fine. I'll just, all the other people's characters will die. Mine won't. So don't worry. I'm not worried. So,
Yep.
yeah.
But anyway,
So-
I like it.
So
I like that.
Valmoku's said some stuff about when you give monsters other special powers. But you said one earlier, which I found hysterical, and I think I did it once actually, and that is give quicklings potions of fire breath. I mean, that's really disgusting, right? Yeah, and they're running around 90.
Quicklings, anything is disgusting.
Yeah, that
Who did that?
Valmoku did. But now he's saying,
Very
like giving bugbears, special regenerate capability. Yeah, my pox trolls, which give off all the spores and stuff, they're immune to fire. You can't burn them; it's only acid on them. And I ripped that right off of Pathfinder Kingmaker. There's a whole adventure line in that computer game where the trolls are immune to fire. You're like, oh crap!
They're too slimy, right? They're too slimy and wet.
Yeah. So you have to use acid to take them out. So you need.
I also have. Here's a dirty trick on trolls. Trolls that are bred so that their fluids in their tissues are highly flammable and combustible. So when you go to light them on fire, they explode.
Oh man, that's almost like Draconians and Dragonlance when they die.
Or if you're gonna run an underwater campaign, but stick your trolls underwater. It's kind of hard to use fire and acid properly. When
Yeah,
they're all
Scrags. Scrags are underwater trolls.
Yep, exactly.
It's it's a tough thing to deal with.
Yeah, you got to get them out of the water if you're going to fight those things.
Yeah.
You can't really effectively fight them in the water.
And they're
There's
probably
no way.
really good at grappling.
Oh
I
my
would bet.
gosh.
Yeah, and they drown
Grappling.
you. They grapple you and drown you.
You and your
Yeah, I'm just
grappling.
gonna hold on to you.
Yeah. You
Look,
look like you need a hug.
here's a dirty trick by Tim that I dealt with the last time he DM'd for me. I have my 13th level Cavalier, and a demon runs around and wraps his arms around her, and then teleports a mile into the sky, and then drops her.
Mm-hmm.
And then teleports away.
Yeah, that's
But
dirty.
you need terminal velocity long before a
Yeah,
mile.
she had-
So
she-
300 feet or a mile doesn't matter.
She had boots of feather falling. She waited a while, and
Yeah.
then feather.
They-
Yeah.
yeah.
But still.
Oh, is it, you had your ring out. You had to get your ring out.
Oh, the ring. I had a ring. Yeah, I had to
Right.
change
Yeah, but a
out.
mile
Roll
that-
to see
that
if
takes
you
a while.
drop it on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
But it was a
Good old
great
Tim
story
stuff.
too, because one of the people questions like, we saw this armored person just fall out of the air.
Mhm.
It's pretty impressive.
Yep.
So that's another good one Sam Weiss brings up. The fake door, which has a 5-foot wide hall or 10-foot wide hall behind it, and when you open the door, a grate falls on you, or something just falls on you. Hey, open the door, and the trap is actually behind the door when it opens. That's a dirty trick.
That would be good, having a fake door where the whole wall just kind of is hinged and the whole wall just.
Smash.
Watch this one, Anna and Will. Name the adventure, Tim. You come across a door, and over the door, it has treasure room. And you come in, and there's 4 treasure chests. And they're all have multiple traps. Okay? When you get all the traps off, you open the first one, and it has feathers in it. The second one has pulled out teeth in it. The third one has bricks. And the fourth one has some, dung droppings in it. What adventure that I run? And it was specifically set for. This is in the 90s. Players I knew that they were like, oh, and they're going to go right to those chests because they were just
The
treasure
Wizard
muggers.
Stidge?
Yes, exactly. Good job, Tim. The Wizard Stidge.
I was like,
The treasure
that sounds
room
like a
trap.
dirty trick I might do.
Yes, it would.
So Jay made it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Real
Can have,
fake
like,
doors. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give me a special treats for some weird monster that eats nasty stuff that no one else wants.
Ugh. Yes, because who knows what? Well, look, Adios will eat anything, right? So
Exactly. It might be,
Oh,
yeah. It might
gosh.
be very.
yes,
Oh,
I might like something really, really.
the Adios.
Well, yep.
I made the monster for when you have players who are way too, their characters are like the perfect specimens or really high stats. Everybody's like super glorious.
God, the mediocre.
I made the
jelly.
mediocre jelly. So if it hits you and you have really high stats, it drains them. It makes them
So you become like a
mediocre.
10 all over.
right. So if your all stats are kind of low and they're 8 and 9, it'll actually plus you a couple. But if because you're below mediocre, you suck, and then so it'll plus you a little bit. But if you're high stats, it'll just drain them to your 9 to 11 or something. Mediocre,
Yeah, and if you have real low stats, it would raise them.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's
So, my Wizard Stidge, everyone, is an ode to Tim's Wizard of Id adventure from like '83, I think it was. Where because I had Hawk and Gazumbo in that one, and that's the one where we fought the insane 30th level wizard at the end.
right. And that's where Poo Poo and Kaka.
Yeah,
and
that's where they came from, and Ichabod too. Yep, that's it. That's how old they are, Anna. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was my ode, and it was that was like 6 or 7 levels, and mine was like 3. So, yep.
And the first level map was actually one my dad had made. He had actually drawn out this big map, a very complicated map, and I said, that's just too good to let sit in a folder. I got to use that.
Absolutely, you got to utilize stuff. Okay, Will, what do we got? What do you have?
Well, there's 2 variations of each other.
Okay.
Of course, you have the throat leech that's
Yeah.
in the bottles of healing potions, or you have the healing potion. This is the worst one. You have the healing potion that's only half a potion, and the other half of the potion's green slime. And it's in a bottle. It's not clear bottle, so they can't
Oh
see it.
my god!
And if they
dude.
were to taste it, they were like, okay, this is good.
That's so
And-
awful.
You just have it mixed in with a whole bunch of other stuff in a wizard's lab, and then they take it. And then later on, it's like, oh, we're gonna need
So,
to get
The healing potion floats on the top.
right.
So they have to shake it. If they shake it well, they should be able to detect it.
Yeah, but who's
Oh my-
going to shake their potion?
No one.
Nobody.
Nobody. But after that, they might.
Oh my gosh!
And they went drinking, and then the guy's just going to die. And it was like, what's wrong with this guy? Oh my God, he's turning into a green
Slime will
slime.
just come out his throat.
Yep.
So that potion missability itself is a dirty trick, right? Because you can
Oh, yeah.
explode, and the genius of it was L1. Len Lekofka actually put mixed potions in that adventure, which I always thought was, and I've talked about this before in the show, genius that he put that in and they let it go in, where he just had crossed potions and
Right.
okay, yeah,
That's the same. That was the same magic user that TPK'd my son's party.
really, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What level were they?
Second.
Oh, okay.
They walked past the. All right, that there's a fireball scar in the middle of that courtyard at the castle. Well, the first time they went through, they got fireballs, and then there was 2 of them. The second time they went there, they got kind of nicked up by a bunch of zombies, and they walked across the court. They didn't catch the magic user the first time. They walk across the courtyard over the 2 scar spots,
Well, they just are.
and that was that. Now,
You had to
The
teach
third
him a
one.
lesson, right?
yeah.
You TPK'd your son's party. You're mean.
Well, I'm going to actually. They're actually all captured. So now they're all in the negative. So they're going to be experimented on by that guy.
Oh my god, dude! I
He
think
might be
that's
like
worse
giving
than
them
dying.
potions to see what happens.
Oh, Tim, you're so bad. Oh my gosh! All
He's
right,
not killing them.
yeah.
Well, one did die outright.
Well,
he's going to be
Oh my
he's going to be
God.
the guard, the animated guard for the
What Will
the zombie.
did using the D&D cartoon with the mechanized dragon corpse. What's that, Will? Like the Alex saying, like Will did using the D&D cartoon.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember it was
Hey,
during
John.
one of the fundraisers, and there was the kids, and everybody had a weapon. They had the magical weapon, and the dragon was dead supposedly, but it wasn't dead. It was a mechanical dragon. I don't remember what he's talking about besides that. I remember that's the one where I didn't have I had the familiar. It was going to be the familiar of the wizard that had died, and for some reason I gave it the Russian accent.
Oh
And
yeah.
they're like, oh, that's the dragon, and that was because of an adventure I'd done previously, and I was like, sure, why not?
That's cool.
It's
Awesome.
that one, though.
Really cool. All right, so Anna, you got something for us?
Yeah, one of my signature dirty moves, so to speak, as a DM is that I don't let the enemy wait piecemeal. If I have a dungeon or like typical example is the goblin lair, I don't let the characters chop up the goblins 5x5 in each room.
Yeah.
So they will construct the lair, so when they come in, the characters get to meet all 50 in one go, so to speak. So I in that sense, it needs to make sense from its own premises, meaning there will be no goblin lair. Humans would have killed them if it would be that easy, so to speak. So that is one of my dirty tricks, is that the enemy fights more on their behalf, and they are smart as a group, so to speak. They might be individually be idiots or cowards or all sorts of stuff, but cultural creatures, so to speak, they fight in groups. And more effectively, and some of them way more effectively than others, meaning hobgoblins will be very, very good at fighting together as a force, but orcs will be less so, goblins will be even less so. But if it comes to survival, they will they will be there, and they might even design the thing so no one can get out more than one way. So the goblin chief designs it so no goblins can run away. So every goblin knows that if the enemy comes in, there is no way I need to stay here and fight because there is no other way around it. So they might make it in that sense too more difficult or easy depending on how you see it. So that's one of the
Nice. Tactics.
that I try to use group tactics from that, but also vary how the
Dave.
monsters fight. Some of them are very aggressive, some of them are very kind of standoffish, so to speak, in how they do it. But skip the piecemeal. Don't give the look at them from the monster perspective. If they're defending their home lair, they're not going to wait and send 5x5. They're going to go all in and try to do it as nasty as and shock and awe effect, so to speak. And do it. And they will use all nasty stuff, like they will throw out all the food, meaning fat, yucky stuff, and all their feces or whatever, they have urine and all that down on the players at first, making it slippery and stuff like that. Then throw rocks and stuff on it, then oil, and then torch the whole thing, and then attack, so to speak. So just to make it real tough, so to speak. But also the goblins might also they might leave the door open because they want the humans to retreat out.
Yeah.
So they will be real nasty, but the players might, but that is something I will not tell the players outright. They have to look around behind them and say, is the door open, and ask me, so to speak. And so that's one of the dirty tricks. Don't tell the players unless the characters are really experienced. If the characters are 15th level and they've been around, should be around and realize that, then I would tell them. Beginning players, no, I would not. They have to figure it out, so to speak, if the characters are newbies. Yeah.
So hopefully Bill's still on, because you said feces and dung.
Yeah.
So I have a character that threw its own crap at someone,
Mm-hmm.
critically hit him and killed him.
Well, okay.
Well,
yeah.
if it's right, it's
Oh,
petrified. A lasso
Oh.
threw its dung at Bill's character, or hit him.
Yeah.
It's just like the Chris Pronger thing. What happened? We got hit with
Yeah.
a puck, right
Yeah.
there. Boom.
Yeah.
Heart stopped. and he
I would give intimidation advantage on doing that. So you will get advantage on intimidation rolls on it or something. So yeah.
When you stake them down, they sound like humans.
Yes, that's according to that's according to Wild Bill Yale. Yes,
Mhm.
the rocks from Vietnam, right? And then
Yeah.
the second one, Curtis brought up. I'm not sure if Scottish Jeff was in this one or Justinius Valmoko. I apologize, but I once had to go up against 6 of these in a Tim adventure at once, and that is my favorite juggernaut. All right, so the slope, and if you ever ran my adventure, Gitano's done it. He did it at PAX Unplugged. A Delve into the Lord's Tomb. Sorry, I probably won't run this again. Just Dennis was definitely there. Something opens up, and it just is rolling down the ramp, and it rolled right into the final crypt and right over a bunch of stuff. Tim's dad got killed. Abdul got crushed by a juggernaut when I ran that back years ago. In the initial thing. But yeah, juggernauts are great because when they roll over, it's 10 to 100.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know when I ran the Temple of Elemental Evil when I was in college, the clerics in there cast Hold Person and got a couple people held, and they're sitting there as the juggernauts are rolling down on them. Like, I can't move. That was great fun.
Yeah, Jeff, another one, Tyrant Fog Zombies, which I stole from Neverwinter Nights, really. They're zombies, but they have a little stinking cloud around them, and it's a 5-foot radius. Oh, that's a good story. Tim's going to get his character. Go ahead, say the longest name in the history of all D&D characters.
Sir Reginald David. I can't even say it.
Sir Reginald Rathmore David Errol Trampier IV, Defender of the Faith and Vanquisher of the Unrighteous. That's his character's name. Is riding on his horse to charge to one of these Tyrant Fog zombies into a stinking cloud. Reginald makes the save, but his horse fails and pukes, and he goes flying off the horse because.
But I land on my feet.
You did because you're a cavalier, yes. So yes, Tyrant Fog zombies were awesome. Good one.
What's the zombies that are adhesive?
Adherers. They're not really zombies.
No, I thought they were.
Yeah, no, they look like zombies.
Yeah.
They look like zombies. That's another good one. Dirty tricks are the Coatoans' way. They have man catchers. They have sticky stuff on their shields. They have net traps. And they also in my game were the breeder of Murlocs. So I love Croatoans.
Yeah. I have one dirty trick that I played using skeletons that I played in not. I haven't used it in this I use campaign, but my players should be wary now when I'm saying it because it's one spoiler alert. But in a previous, I use, he loves his dumb troops, so to speak, because they're non-intelligent zombies and skeletons and stuff. You can just send them forth. So I use the cleric, send forth a wave of skeletons, several hundreds of them, and the characters were like, "Oh, this is easy." We start cutting through of them and cutting through left and right and so on. And then when they were really entrenched in them, and the skeletons got a few in and whatever, and there were some spells, and the Ayusians started throwing spells, and the players were like, "What the heck?" They destroying the skeletons as well as us, so to speak. But they wade through it, and then when they smashed all the skeletons, that's when the high Ayus priest reanimated the whole damn shebang again, and they were like back in started over again, so to speak, and that's when the players were like, "Damn, this is not good. This is bad." So you could redoing it, and you can. I was extra nasty because I simply said, "Well, you have a bone chain spell," and that meant that every little piece became more. So they started with 10, and then next time when the bone chain thing went off, there was like 200 of them. So
nice.
So and they knew what the bone chain was. So when they heard it and saw it, well, like pop everywhere. This is not good, and they were in the middle of it. So that was one of the nasty, dirty tricks that I played once. That was
There are some good necromancer spells that were in Dragon Magazine
bone chain
articles.
Like bone chain is the perfect one. But you don't need to prep it. You can let the enemy prep it for you as an Ayusian priest.
Nice.
And that one is so cool. You hold one bone, and then when they're surrounded by all the ones, then you cast it, and you get all the bone chain madness around it, so to speak. That's the way to use a bone chain spell. Yeah.
Ayusian specialty priests are
my favorite.
Yeah, they're very nasty. Mm-hmm. They can't heal themselves except through vampiric touch for the most part. But other than that, I mean,
they don't have to.
Yeah.
They work even after death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's no escaping the old one, not even death.
So
the dead Ayusian priest, it might be even worse than the living one. So
Troll Guardians of Bands of Fire says, damn weirdo. I have my pox trolls are immune to fire, so it's just it's perfect. All right, Pendrake, I made some metal skeletons once. Tim, talk about your skeletons in Wizard of Id.
Oh, yeah. Metal skeletons are nasty.
They were in plate mail, right?
And
with longbows.
And
I don't remember.
They were invisible.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Damn.
Invisible skeletons in plate mail with bows.
That is nasty. That is really nasty.
Yeah. Yes.
That sounds devious.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I wonder whose idea that was initially. Tim also had a really cool thing in Wizard of Id, and this is why I always go back to this. He had a yellow brick road running through most of it. And on the one level, if you step off the yellow brick road, you get teleported to somewhere else in the campaign setting.
It was through like a misty area. You had scenery though, couldn't you see?
You could see, So Alan's character and his arrow mountless, and she stepped off, and she got teleported to Greyhawk City, and she just stayed there. Joined another invention group.
One of the places I think you can see like little scenery, like it's a room where. It's misty, and then you can get to an area where you can see a little bit, and it's like a little diorama, a little room, and you see something. One of them is you end up at the main tower in the Vault of the Drow.
Yep, you could do that in the Black Tower, yeah.
Yeah, don't step off there.
Yeah.
No.
Those are great adventures. Those were the days. All right, Will, what do you got? And then we'll see what else Tim has.
Man, well,
just having
I don't know. The one thing I was been thinking of is when do you use the dirty tricks? Because the dirty tricks are great, right? But they're dirty, So it's like it's almost like it's punishment time, right? That's pretty much when a good example is like you said, the one guy all he does is kick down doors.
Yeah.
That's when you have to you bring out the dirty trick is when they're doing that. It's like the fake door. It looks like a door, but it's just a sheet of metal over brick. That doesn't go nowhere. You can kick it all you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good idea. Like I said, I love traps, and I love sometimes spur of the moment traps. Pit traps can appear from out of nowhere. I have the miniatures to put it on. You know what I mean? So, or the fake doors, especially too.
Here's a good dirty trick, because Jay did this a lot, and now we don't trust anybody. But you have a prisoner that you rescue who is really either a Rakshasa, which is Jay's favorite, but you could have a doppelganger, anyone polymorph. But so you're rescuing them. They're like, oh, yeah. And so where do you put them? At the back of the party,
Oh,
or
yeah.
next to the Madge in the middle, because we're protecting them. They need help. And then the betrayal comes. That's.
Or my variation on that. Well, here's the Rakshasa. Everyone knows Rakshasa is my favorite monster of all time. So the variation on that, there's a fight going on, and a female in armor, she's overwhelmed by 6, 7, 8 Orogs, and she's fighting. And I did this with one of Mastrine's daughters. She set it all up because they were all expendable, and she was an anti-paladin, right? And she got their confidence. I'll do that all the time. So if you rescue someone, and that happened, they were all paranoid about the little girl, the 5-year-old, yesterday morning. Yeah. They're like, who's going to go up to her? Because they're like,
don't rescue anyone in the game. Just chop the head off to be sure.
Yeah, the maiden in distress there. But Rakshasas are the best. Oh, this is a Trimpier too, isn't it?
And yeah, it is. And people wonder why people become murder hobos.
Yeah. We drive them to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Changing, painting your copper coins gold.
Yeah, fool's gold.
Yeah.
Magical or mundane. Yeah.
And then having lots of it, and then forcing them to carry it all back to civilization.
Yeah, that's torture in itself.
Yeah.
All that copper.
By weight, you might be able to tell by weight. It'd be like
pyrite. Yeah, it's an interesting fake gold, or here's one that cursed items.
Cursed items is great.
I try to stay away from them usually. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know why? Because you're scared you're going to take it to a whole new level with it, right?
I'm kind of sometimes I use them, but I use them kind of openly in that sense that they detect right away that they are cursed.
Right.
So my curses are not annoying, they are more real dangerous, so to speak. So in this book I have Vakuni's his spell book that is an artifact, and that book is real nasty. It will drag you in and you get lost in his world, so to speak. So that is real nasty. So don't open it and look into it, because then miss that save and you're in there, so to speak. So and you're in a pocket version of Abyss, so to speak. So that is, it's kind of real tricky. And so I try to use curses that are nastier and more kind of big curses, that sense, but they are not traps in that sense, that you know that it's there, and if you want to tamper with it, more like an enemy than an annoying trap, so
like you brought it on yourself if you get hit by it.
The choice to do it.
So you might want to engage with it, but that's really risky. That's
here's a dirty trick that Jay used before, and to great effect, and it really irritated me. Whatever you do when you get this book, I need you to get. Don't open it.
Don't read the book.
Yeah, and then
don't read the book.
You want to? Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then he gave it to a party of players.
No, they had to go through hell to get it.
Right, and he knew they couldn't resist looking at it, and of course, when he did, it freed the bad guy. My other character had imprisoned.
Yeah, it was a freedom spell, and it freed him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a curse. It was a book that set. Whatever you do, we need this book. Whatever you do, don't read
it. Don't read it.
Yeah.
How's that a dirty trick though? That's just
you knew the players and you knew those morons.
Of course. What do you mean? How's that a dirty trick? That's totally a dirty trick.
But I had
those morons and they fell for it.
Yeah,
I have that, but it sucked the soul in. So like you're not supposed to. They want the book because they're going to use it on somebody else.
Yeah. Mirrors of life trapping are good like that too.
Yeah. But I used the cursed in this campaign really, really well, a cursed item, and that is a small piece of Dragotha bone that is like a little token, and that's part of her her kind of phylactery, so to speak. So she actually put that away a little bit here and there, both as a cursed item to get to know the enemy, because they kind of take it and try to hide it away, and also as a way of getting to know the enemy and spread her powers around. And one of the characters got it, and the one of the powers curse you get it is that Dragotha takes control of your dreams when you're asleep, so to speak. So when you're asleep, you end up, if you miss your save, she takes control of your dreams, and you end up in her dream plane, and she then you live in her reality, so to speak. And that worked so well that it took 3 game sessions before the players realized they were in Dragotha's nightmare, so to speak. And
That's
I just retched it up worse and worse and worse, and then the players were like, this is so bad, but this can't be real, and then they got a save. And one of the players who had he was the one that cost it, so to speak. He was the one that had the Dragotha little trinket, and so he rolled a will save and rolled a nat 20 on it. So then I told the whole thing, and he figured it all out, so to speak.
That's cool.
But that was a dirty trick that I think was kind of cool. That was, and it took more than 2 sessions for them to figure it out.
I love using cursed magical items that become not just for the curses, but to make them a focal point of the game. Like one that I've used, I've run this a couple of times. Say like the party is in a town and they're watching a hanging, right? Guy gets hanged, and as he gets hanged, I have everybody roll saving throws, and whoever rolls, basically what I'm doing is whoever rolls the lowest sees it, and a very fine necklace falls from the guy, and nobody notices it. They just all pretend like it's not there. He's dead. Then they take him down. They're cleaning up, and nobody goes over and takes the necklace. So of course they want to go and take the necklace. It's like, well, what's up with this necklace? And it's an intelligent necklace that wants them to go and do stuff, but it's got a bunch of sweet special powers on it too. But the special powers are only, it only will let them do them when it's doing stuff for them. And it has the ability
to, it'll choke you if you don't
choke them. Yep, it can choke them. It can give them minuses to their saves and to hits.
Nice.
As for not doing what it wants, which is to take it somewhere, and it's being used to kill someone or what have you. It becomes a focal point of the adventure itself.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah. I had an unholy sword in my Real Devin campaign that the players found from a really nasty stuff that has been in the Death Knights used, and it was they could detect it was magic, and he could reshape what it looked like, so it didn't look pure evil, so to speak. It just looked shiny and really cool, so to speak. And and each time if they killed a good creature, it gave them a +1, and they were like, oh, and so he like they were out starting murder hobo and was like, I have a +3 sword. He's like, it's getting better and better. It was really, really cool. And then he need to then he was good. As long as he killed good things, then he got pluses and a lot of stuff. But if he didn't, then the sword kind of could alert enemies and others and so on. So it was made sure that as long as he killed good things, it was a happy sword and no problem. But if he killed some evil, he was like, yeah, it's okay, but I don't give you any more pluses for it. But once you don't do it and put him in scabbard too long, then he would like, oh, there's an enemy, and the sword would use his powers to lure everybody alert that were there and stuff. So when they were sleeping, he could send out light, and he could mentally call in whatever monsters to come and kill. So I want a better owner. Yeah.
Hey, we're over here.
He could, but he tried to be very subtle about it at the beginning, so to speak, because he'd had patience. So it was, and he could whisper and stuff too. So it was like, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. At first it was, oh, I have the coolest sword ever. He said +1, +2, +3, and he was one of these that every plus meant like, oh, this is so cool. And then he only got it when so they started murder hobo, and then realized, damn, that was an evil sword. Yeah. After a while. Yeah.
So there are also some cool magic items. I don't know if they're cursed or not, but you need to, like this Walt character Tyra got. It's called Eye of the Sea King. and it will summon a scrag once a week from the water, but you
Okay.
have to sacrifice someone to the sea.
Mhm.
So you got to kill,
Yep.
basically if you kill a creature and then sacrifice it, it'll work. But
Yeah.
you ain't getting the power of it by just
Mhm.
Again, I would like to point out the bag of chickens.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's got to be, it's got to be. Yeah, I don't know if
Yep.
sacrifice.
A sentient creature.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sacrificing a chicken.
Yep.
That's
Well, now we're getting into philosophical.
Yes.
realms.
But
talking.
nasty,
Yeah, talking creatures are great too, Scott Chef. All right, here's some quick monsters that I've used to really screw people up with. Some of them have killed people, and some of them are in Dragon Magazine orders. This is an albino crocodile. It's immune to magic.
That'll do it.
Okay, it's a white crocodile. It's in the sewers of Greyhawk. It's immune to magic. All right, that's one. All right, here's another one. I actually killed Tim's dad with this guy too, and not only with a juggernaut. This is called Lich's Blood. This is leftover goo and residue from bad experiments that's actually sentient. Think of that thing in Star Trek, the first season, Next Generation, that evil and it seeks out people's spellcasters, and it inhabits them and basically suffocates them. And it's immune to magic as well. So there you go. It's another thing that's really tough to deal with. That was another nasty trap. I got one more here I wanted to. Oh, does everyone know that in old school, Death Knights reflected spells back at the caster?
They did.
Okay, so yeah, Death Knights are great if you have a high level party and they're trying to blast them.
Death Knights are great, especially against low level parties.
Yes, that's really
Yep.
disgusting.
They're excellent.
I
Yep.
think Death Knights are good against everything.
Oh
really.
yeah, they always good. You can never. It's like garlic bread in gaming. You can never go wrong with Death Knights. So yeah.
Yeah, Death
Yeah.
Knights are great too.
Yep.
Yes, a lot of these. This one can get out of hand. And it's neutrally bent, but it can. There's always can be cases of mistaken identity. Have a revenant chasing the party
Oh
for some
yes,
reason.
yeah.
Because you
I
can't.
had
Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
Also, I had a twist to that one. I had a revenant in this game now that the players, and he was a revenant that someone that Ayu's priest killed. So he was actually out trying to kill Ayusian priest, so to speak, and the characters got caught up in it a little bit. So the players think, oh, we are now, but no, that the revenant was actually after the Ayusian priest. So he was because the priest had tortured him to death, so to speak. So he became a revenant. So he was actually an undead on the character side, but the characters haven't figured that out yet. So we'll see. Yep. Another spoiler. So don't.
Ravager of Time has that.
There's a revenant. At the very against Nuala. But we have a revenant now roaming about Hardby on ships and all. Who hates everyone because it's their fault he was assassinated. And that's the Revenant of Michael Baton there, Tim.
Yep.
So, sweet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a Revenant now, and he's
I don't
after
think he has the
everyone.
willpower, Jay. He doesn't have the willpower.
So you
There's
you
no
can
money
use,
in it.
Yeah, you can use evil undead monsters to your to the party's advantage too at times. So don't always. Yeah, I haven't figured out a way to use Death Knights
all the time.
Exactly. Yep.
For lower level parties, yellow musk creepers are fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because it's just a plant, and then and then you trance and you go right into the plant and it starts planting stuff in your head, and then you become a yellow musk zombie.
Crypt things.
Crypt things are great
Crypt
too.
things are awesome. They're fake glitches. They're awesome. Yeah.
That's another real good one. Just go. Oh, if you want something that it scares the hell out of everyone, Sons of Caius, right? Because the worms themselves are do more damage than them attacking. A worm boring into you is one of the going to your brain and turning into one of these is one of the worst things I can think of ever happening to a character.
Yep.
So that's just some that I have down on my list here.
Put some of those in a bottle.
Oh my god! What Sons of Caius worms?
Sure, man. Put them in a bottle of water.
Run
and label it eye wash.
Yeah, and have it at the station in case of emergency eye wash. Yeah.
So Scottish Jeff, I just used a couple of doppelgangers. If you remember, and I tied it into 2 different adventures. In Noel Dare, there's supposed to be 2 doppelgangers. Well, when the high level party came through in that adventure I ran, they fled north into Norwell, and they were causing problems for the headhunters. So I took for one adventure and put them in another with the doppelgangers, which is really you gotta get creative. Gotta be creative with your players, but yeah, there's a lot. Go ahead, Tim.
I like the dirty trick of the false flag, where the patron or someone that they're helping is actually lying. Like, you got to kill. There's a madman out there. He's killing everybody, and he basically has you kill the chaotic good, or the
That's what the anti-paladin, dressed in silver armor and white and gold trimmed tabard and what have you, and he's all dashing because anti-paladins are very charismatic.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah. Well,
devilishly handsome.
There you go.
I thought at first that guy, the paladin in the movie, was going to be that at very first. When I first saw him, I go, he's not really good. He's an anti-paladin, but they didn't do that. If you saw the movie, he was really awful good.
Yeah. Sorry.
Shadowrun did this all the time, where you were hired by somebody, and you always had to be really careful when you came to get your pay, because they were going to double cross you, or
that's when they're going to snuff you out. Yeah.
And so that sort of style translates really nicely in D&D, where everyone's like, yes, I'll go help.
Yeah, it reminds me of Butch Cassidy again, the payroll thieves. Yeah.
And again, this is how you make murder hobos.
Kind of true, Will. You make them so paranoid, they're like, we're just killing everything.
That's the goal. My main goal as a DM is to turn the players into murder hobos. And that's the basic idea that's a way to have fun. Yeah.
All right, so Anna, well, you got something else? I mean, I'll tell you one. Your zombie goats are awesome.
Oh yeah, they as a monster, they're kind of fun. So yeah, I have a couple of other monsters. I have a high level monster that is nastier. That's the skull tree. I'm studying it out. I haven't used it on my players yet, but it's so it will come. Yeah, it's an IUCN. The goats are zombie goats are like CR1 or 2 or something like that. This is like a CR10 monsters or 12, so it's a real nasty, but it grows. It's the skull trees or skull tree starts out minuscule, so to speak, and then moves up and up and up. So they grow, and if you leave them, they become real nasty. So you have to go out and de-weed the IUCN area, so to speak, because the IUCN priest can plant skull trees, and so make sure they don't grow in your backyard, especially. So you have to go out and check your surroundings and areas where the IUCN priests have been, to make sure that no skull trees are growing, because they get worse and they grow over years and weeks, awesome. Months, years, and decades. So they can become really nasty when they get old.
Is there like an IUCN priest that's like Johnny Appleseed, just kind of wandering?
I hope so.
Planting these.
They're
going to put a school here. Let me drop one of these.
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So that's the.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so that is it's a way for IUs to conquer territory and hold on to it without having to spend enormous amount of resources. So we just use abyssal divine powers to grab hold of it, so to speak. But there was one other thing that I did a couple of times. There is a way you can do in the military. You can recon by fire, so to speak, meaning if you think that there might be enemies in there, you can shoot like randomly in there to see if someone starts shooting back, and then you realize that, oh, that's where the enemy is. You can also use that in a nasty way against the party if they have hirelings with them or NPCs and stuff. You can have one of the enemies, one of the NPCs or hirelings or someone panic and start shooting in every direction to they might come everywhere and start shooting like crazy, and then they have to somehow subdue them or deal with them or something like that, as a way of raising the stakes a bit and panic the players.
I thought Tim learned his lesson about hirelings and bringing them into adventures of mine. Then he brought his entire band on the beach, Anna, if you remember.
That's awesome.
The whole band, and that was awesome.
I wanted everyone to see your unfairness, Jay, right there.
About
And what was the name of the band?
Death Comes Quickly.
The Red Shirt.
The Red Shirts.
Oh yeah,
that's
the
it.
red shirts. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Yep.
I've used a version of the magic lamp, and essentially it's an evil lamp. So if you rub the lamp, an imp pops out.
Oh,
That's like, hey, he doesn't grant you a wish, but he makes you offers. Like, I can give you a +2 to any of your stats. You just got to do me this little favor, and I want you to kill one innocent person. I don't care who it is. Just go kill him, and then I'll give it to you. And like he does stuff like this, and trying to force them to do different things, and then he'll grant it, and it'll last for 24 hours, and then it goes away until they just to mess with the players, just to try to see if you can push anyone a little bit close to the edge to do something bad.
That's awesome.
I use the imp to do suggestion on the children at the cliff camp in the Underdogs.
Yeah,
to get them to do things that killed it off.
Yeah,
people.
you're disturbing with the children stuff, dude. That's
Well,
disturbing.
it's emotional content is significant.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
gets barbarians even mad to like try to help. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, it was a downer me watching that. I'm like, oh my gosh, Tim. Although I did have a 5-year-old kidnapped on Saturday, right,
Yeah,
by a fox woman, and that's it. Like lycanthropy is another great dirty trick. All right, one of the best ones. So yeah, I don't care if it's a werebear or whatever. It's not fun being a lycanthrope. It can't be. And it's also got to be annoying for the DM to fit that into the game, especially with 2 moons on Greyhawk.
You got to make them wear something they don't want to be, like wear rabbit. Like that.
Yeah,
Once they're that for a while, they can control it, right?
Yeah, but it's years.
Yeah.
So
you just hide that character away for a little while.
We're gonna live out in the wilderness for a while.
Yeah, and then you bring him back and just like, I'm all better. I'm all better now.
I did once an imp that I realized I'm going to terrorize them with this imp. So first imp was like in physical form, and they was 1 heck to kill it, and once they killed it, it became an undead zombie imp, and they had to kill it all over again. And after that, he came back as a ghost to haunt them.
Ghosted. There you go.
And that was like they were like, we giving up on this one. It's getting So that was like they had to kill it 3 times. Yeah, and he was like a CR1 first, and then became like a CR3 or 4 or something, and he got nasty paralyzing powers and all stuff like a ghoul thing or something, and then afterwards it became like a ghost.
Scottish Jeff said, "Wear sloth." That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
That same imp I had, it was in the because of the different timelines, was in the Dark Hand game, and came after Carlos's invisible hawk, his invisible crow familiar, came after him, and he punished them for that. Carlos got the upper hand on that one.
That's awesome. All right.
Oh, I used the Quasit familiar also on you guys on the city state event.
You did. That thing was annoying. No, you're good. So Tim is good at this. He gives descriptive magic items or super powerful ones, and he always injects that paranoia for me to figure out what the hell it is. And I'm like, I just don't. You know what? I got to the point where I got enough magic. I don't need those magic items. So we don't even touch them. I'm like, I don't want it.
That's why Roscoe has the artifact that can restore someone's youth. Can make them young again.
Ooh.
There's a percentage chance that you lose a level when you do that.
Right.
Once a month. And that's what it used to belong to Gru, and now he's mad about it because the got stolen from him. But it also has it's like a bottle that has a greater devil in it. And that if you get this ice devil out to do something, you have to sacrifice a human to it.
Yeah, and that sacrificing is never good. Just like that IMC King. It's never good. It's never good. Some great stuff. We're having fun with this discussion tonight. So, Anna, what do you got next? You got something else?
Oh yeah, I have one that remember, it's kind of a tradition in Greyhawk, and I think a lot of fantasy settings that demons you capture them and you lock them up in things, so to speak, and especially Grast, he's the demon that he seems to be captured more than all over the place, often, so to speak. And to me, it's not that it's the other way around, so to speak. He wants to be captured because then and put into these little things, because that means that that will become his gate. His speciality is to be captured into things like that, and that becomes his way of being available and get a straight way into the material plane, because when you put him there, he can just, then you open a gate to his home down in the abyss, so to speak, and you carry that with you all the time, so he can come back and haunt you every time you open it, so to speak. So it's actually the other way around. You get captured with him, so to speak. It's like you're putting yourself in a cursed situation. So I've used that. That is Grast method, so to speak. So you think that you captured him, but it's more the other way around. You make what you do is that you make a portal for him to come back in and get to you every time you open it. Yeah.
There's a lot of good little nuisance monsters.
Camp rats are a great one. Yeah.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
Prof, I know you're busting my stones there, but there was a space vampire episode in Buck Rogers in the first season. There was. Yes, there was.
Vorvon.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talked,
and he would put it like this. He'd bring his two hands up and put it on your neck.
Yeah, he did it to Wilma.
Yeah.
Aaron Gray.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wonder how to make my vampires become Greyhawky vampires and less Romanian Dracula lords, so to speak. Yeah.
The first person that says Thrommel in chat gets a 30-day ban.
I did say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in chat, Thrommel.
How to make vampires? That's a good question. I think.
Yeah, but I would. Yeah. So sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. That's a really good question. Like, I'll give you an example of something I like that made a change. That second edition that I've used. Actually, Rich got me on, and that was for Lich. The Soul Lich is really flavored in Greyhawk style, right?
Yep.
And it's way different than a regular Lich. So we need a Soul Iridian or something, or an ancient Flan vampire or something on that end. It's a great. Patrick, you know I'm not banning you. We need something that's equivalent in Greyhawk. That's a good.
I have my first example. You have Mashkalane is one of the top I use henchmen, and is a vampire. So I want to stat him out and give him for my current campaign, and that's why I've started thinking, okay, how can I make him Greyhawk? But
is he the one who runs Bradford? Is he in Bradford?
Yeah,
okay.
I think I forgot which, and I know he's up there, and I'm planning to want to introduce him one way or the other. So
I'll tell you how.
Yeah.
Give him druidic abilities.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of mage, instead of cleric.
Yeah.
Give him like Flan druidic abilities too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. So yeah.
I'd also change out some of the weaknesses and stuff.
Exactly. Meaning not mirrors, not get invited and stuff like that.
But
just change some of that stuff.
I would still keep it, but I would just change it. So
exactly.
Instead of garlic, have it be
silver.
Or
oregano.
Exactly.
Yeah,
oregano.
Yeah.
It's still in the Italian restaurant. He can't go in that place.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. There's something along those lines. He still want to have weaknesses and strength, and swap out one of the strengths and a couple of the weaknesses and stuff. So
is there? That's a good question. Is there any? Or this is completely off topic, but is there any ores that are unique to Greyhawk? You can't have mithril. Mithril's not unique. I mean, that's in every.
Well, adamantite is close.
I think it was at least invented in early Greyhawk adventures. And there's a
couple
of other. Yeah, there's a couple of other ones too. I think that materials that are.
I like meteorite steel too because meteors are going to be hitting anywhere, and that exists in reality.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's up?
Hey.
Saw you
And-
missed.
and-
Saw you
Yeah.
missed such a great BattleTech game last
Oh.
weekend. I got my butt kicked again. Yes.
He's here because his friends are watching, and he's proving that.
Oh,
See, I can get on.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
on TV. I'm on Twitch. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Welcome to nerdery.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
really cool. That's a good idea, though, Anna, to give
Yeah,
some
to
undead
tweak
mummies,
vampires. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. There are several that I think needs a
Definitely
Greyhawk
take
touch.
the wrappings off of them.
Well,
I think that's the number one thing you could do to make it like non.
And this makes sense in the realm of they found these in real life, putting stuff in bogs. The bog mummy is perfect for Greyhawk.
Yeah.
Peat, into peat
Yeah.
and all. So this exists in a Dragon Magazine article. And every time I bring up one of these, someone's got a Mason Disruption and kills it in the first round, right, Tim? Every time I use a bog mummy, which is so nasty, it's like, I've had it happen
you
like
gotta
3
come
times.
equipped. You
Yeah.
gotta come equipped.
Yeah, that's a good one though. There's good alternate mummies out there. There's an ice mummy too, that get frozen in like the tundra and stuff.
I have so many things I want to say so far, but there's kind of spoilers to the other stuff.
Don't spoil anything.
Go right ahead.
I've
I'm just
spoiled
gonna
lots
say
of-
that
Yeah.
there is a type of. Oh, never mind. It's actually there's a type of undead creature related similar to this that is maybe potentially associated with the reverse dungeon.
Oh.
Good.
So continue.
Are you doing reverse dungeon in Virtual GrowCon?
When is that? It's in
October 6th through the 8th.
Yeah, I don't know if I can add another seat though. I already had. If everyone shows, it's already.
I'm
not adding another seat.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying.
Too much work.
I just want to make sure that you're doing it during Virtual GrowCon.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Woohoo. So that'll be October 7th, Saturday morning. Mark it down now. Awesome. That'd be great. Listening. I don't know what that means there, Patrick. So wow. Look, this is a fun discussion tonight. We're having a blast on this talk here. All right, let's everyone else think of one last one they want to do, and then we'll hit some shout outs and do the giveaways. And I'm trying to think here. There are a lot of really cool Greyhawk based creatures that have special abilities that are always, and I'll just do one, and that is two of my favorites, the drowned ones, and the reason why is they're unturnable. Thanks, Patrick. When you have an unturnable undead, it throws the wrench into everything because they're kind of self-willed from the roll, so you can't like just go as a cleric and turn them. And then the second one is, of course, the sword race, and they're both in Greyhawk Adventures, and they're kind of self-willed too. Now they have a higher level of unturn rate, but they're great because they're partially corporal. This picture doesn't really show them; they're more like half and half. They're kind of like those things in Lord of the Rings, right? The men of the hills, right? Where they have corporality sometimes and they don't. I love both those. They're great dirty tricks to throw in beyond just your standard undead. Throw in some different stuff here and there. That's my suggestion. All right, who wants to go next? Want a dirty trick to finish this up here?
Well,
I
joke about it all the time, but if you're starting up a new campaign, think of different ways to change your monsters around. Two things that I do that you could do that would change a lot of encounters is all my dragons are green. That is true.
Mine are gray.
Yeah. So there is no color coordination. So you can go, I know what's going to happen there. It's just the disposition of the dragon that you're dealing with.
Yep.
And then my goblins get bigger as they age.
Oh, nice.
So regular goblins are young goblins. Hobgoblins are a little bit older goblins. Bugbears are even older goblins.
Nice.
And they'll keep, and then I do like the next step up is like an ogre. And then if you stick around really long, you actually regress from being like the ogre type, and you can become the goblin king. So just a little something different like that would actually add something different in there, and it keeps the players off their feet. They don't necessarily know what's what.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
and they all look alike, you know.
Yep. And
So-
I have a variant on that, and this is something I haven't told anyone yet. So now this is spilling the beans. I haven't even told my
Ooh.
patrons. So yeah, it's actually I have it that the dragons. It's not like they're red and whatever. So red and gold, for example, are the same dragons. It's just a matter of what side of the alignment. Meaning, are they civilized, good-hearted, and so on? Gold dragon, evil bastards, non-civilized, whatever. Red dragon. Otherwise, it's the same built biologically. It's the same type of dragon. It's just that they are on what side they're on, so to speak. And there are several others that are the same way. So
that,
you
I
can't,
see. That's even better. I like that a lot better.
so you can't. It's simply it's up to culture, so to speak. Certain dragons have decided to be cultural creatures and defend themselves and gang up together and so on to try to be beneficial to the world, and others are not, so to speak. And there are variants of it. So yeah.
And I have two different types of dragons that are subsets. One is I added the Monster Manual and Dragon Magazine, where their kind of color and breath all coincide. And then I have the serpents, which are their colors and their breaths have nothing to do with each other.
Yep.
And the type of breaths are all very unusual and different. And I mean, they can be basic or they can be totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's good. Yep.
you never know.
Yep.
Changing it up is a good thing. I predict a major change on June 3rd
Okay.
when I run this
June 3rd.
of something.
Oh, yep.
I've told you 100 times, Tim. It's 9 a.m.
I didn't say it. I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you did.
He
1000th
smiled.
adventure, Tim the Lizard King. I predict a major change in it. We got to get done in 8-9 hours because we're going to start at 9
The
o'clock in the morning.
Lizard King's a good guy.
No, not that drastic, but yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna have fun with that. So and it's the worst named group in the history of D&D.
False.
It's running at the Omega Patrol.
The last patrol you'll ever need.
Yes,
There you go.
That's great. So, all right. Any other finals thought? Yeah.
No, I
Final
spilled
thoughts
my-
on a great discussion here. Go ahead, Anna. What were you gonna say?
No, I spilled my beans today. So
Okay,
yep.
that's
Mhm.
great.
Yep.
What a great chat so far we've had. Why are red dragons evil or any of the colors are specific? Just because
Yep.
that's because that's the way it was back in the D&D day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
I think,
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
It's-
have to be that way. You can make
Exactly.
changes to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can always change it up. There's
You got
nothing
neutral
wrong with it.
dragons.
Yeah,
There's
the
so
gem
many
dragons,
cool-
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many cool dragons you can pick from dragon modules, monster books here and there and everywhere. Meaning there's probably like 300 versions of dragons published for D&D and its various editions. So there's plenty to pick from.
Excellent.
And there may be some floating in on the reverse dungeon also, maybe.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
there
I
we
saw
go.
Pathfinder 2 are announcing new cool dragons in the revised version. One that was like an illusion-based dragon, that was like a vision thingy. I really like that idea. That was really cool. Yeah. And their
And-
abyssal dragon, or what they call or something. I want to call them the hellish dragon, so to speak, the infernal dragon or the abyssal dragons. I played with them for years, and it's so cool that Pathfinder 2 are now starting to play with them too. I love that the illustrations were awesome. So yeah.
And you can change any monster you want.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's the key.
yeah. I have two abyssal shadow dragons are some of his top guardians, so to speak, and they are really nasty because they are so chaotic that the breath weapon goes the whole gambit, so to speak. So you don't know what you're getting. Yeah.
Just note, with anything in the game, you don't want to go too far with your dirty tricks.
Oh, you can
There's
go.
not-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can never go too far. Is that what you're going to say, Anna?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mumbled a bit.
I
Sorry.
I use this in the underdog game. I had bad guys who were not obviously, it was unclear, and so they were confused, all confused. The whole session they were all confused about what was going
Yep.
on
Yep.
because they were opponents, not necessarily bad guys, but maybe they're bad guys. And they also had someone in their midst who could be an influence, some way, who was an overt, like, the bad guys don't need to be like slavering, evil, obvious. They can be someone who just seems reasonable, but you just never know.
Gotcha,
And that's
Stefan.
A politician.
it's a
Yes.
trick. It's a dirty trick, but it's a little bit more like reality. I mean, there's tons of,
Yeah.
There's a lot of gray areas. That is so true. And having gray areas in your Greyhawk makes total sense.
Yep.
Mine is the fight against good and against evil, but there's a lot of room for gray, and that makes the game even more. Having multiple factions in your game, there's nothing at all wrong with that. It makes it fun. So just note that you can do it with all sorts of dirty tricks there too. But a dirty trick to TPK the party without them, have at it, but have at it at your own peril of pissing off your adventuring party over your players. You want to use everything to your benefit, and you want to use it so that it makes sense in the game and it challenges them further.
And
if you TPK them, have them wake up from the dream.
Exactly. Yes, that was my plan, but they kind of woke up 2 minutes early. So
only just
dirty tricks are fun to use, but don't just do it to do it.
Right.
No, and you
Do
should
it if you
use
deserve
as much dirty tricks as the players like you to do, so to speak.
Exactly.
And if you figure out how to do that, then please tell us. Yeah.
And you know that they are memorable. Tim and I told dirty tricks about each other that happened 40 years ago in this discussion tonight. They are memorable. Make them memorable.
Jay, did I use a dirty trick when Red Fist wasn't cooperative on the mission?
Yeah.
Was that a dirty trick? All right.
Is that a dirty trick? Yeah, it's a dirty trick to a degree. Yeah, absolutely. Dirty. Yeah, you can put them down in their place. A dirty trick. Damn, absolutely. What?
There's a question. Pendrake in chat said, "Why is Greyhawk GRE British instead of?"
That's a question we've never asked anyone.
It sounds fancier.
Well, it's because the Greyhawk is from a tribe, and I believe that's the way the tribe has it spelled, right?
Yeah,
that's where the Greyhawk originally comes from. Or maybe he changed it from the original one so that it wasn't exactly of the tribes. Good question.
We will find out. That's a good question for Luke Gygax, so we can ask that.
Yeah,
or Jim Ward, or any of those that were around that, Zeb Cook, or one of them will know specifically.
My money's on Jim.
Yeah. And we just had Jim on recently in a Wizards 3 discussion, so that was a blast. All right, so what's everyone got shout out wise? So Tim, will start us off.
Yeah, mine's the shortest list for sure. Just preparing for the July and August time frame for my next installments that I owe for the underdogs and for the city state.
Yes, because June is completely booked up.
Right.
With vacations and all the other stuff going on. But that would be good. July and August, that would be good. In the doldrums of summer. Looking forward to it. And Tim, thanks for hopping on and participating tonight. That was a really fun discussion.
Yeah.
Will, what's up? What you got going on?
Well, Echoes of a Dark Past is up and on drive-through. You can get the PDF.
Nice.
The print version will be available soon. The proof copy is coming to me, and provided the proof copy looks a-okay, it'll be going right up. I don't have to have my stuff approved through drive-through anymore. They said you're a good boy.
Oh, nice.
Don't do stuff. So anything I put, it just goes through now. So let's see. I just the adventure I'm working on for Chuck is in editing. So I have the next adventure with that's going on.
Awesome.
Still working on the Greyhawk project. So I'm still putting out the 5th edition conversions of things. I'm putting more earlier edition things on there. It's a lot harder to do because that stuff's all done. You know what I mean? It's like it's easy to convert 5e stuff because it hasn't been done yet. But I'm trying to work some more OSE stuff into there. And this just kind of happened today. I don't know exactly everything that's going to be connected to it or how much I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be doing art for David Leonard and Rich Legend Tellis' Low Road.
Great.
So I don't know how many pieces I'm going to have in there, but I was talking with, is it Ewan from over on Greyhawk Visions, the E magazine, and I sent him some artwork,
great.
and then we got to talking about that. So I'm going to touch base with David and Rich and see if there's, because I don't even know if they know. It sounds like
Well,
I'm going to talk with them and see if there's any art that they would want me to do. So
that's awesome, considering I've been running Low Road Adventures for 2+ years, right?
Right?
Finally that would be great.
They're waiting for you to finish it up so that they can put it out.
Oh my God. Yes.
So, but that's and as always, I've got multiple projects always going on, but that's all the big stuff that's happening currently.
Excellent. And I really appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you. That was
thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Fun discussion. Anna, what's going on?
There's so many things going on, packing and getting ready to leave, be away for a month, and a bunch of other stuff. But I'm putting together a kind of a major update on my Patreon blog, explaining all the things that are going on, and there will be added the latest heraldry I did, the Malgari, that we talked about in the last episode of Legends and Lore, when we had the Wednesday when we talked Keelland, and Gary Julian told us the backstory about. I got so caught up I had to make so that heraldry is coming, and hopefully see if I can do some other heraldry as well. But there's a lot of stuff, both technical stuff and stuff that I'm working on and stuff. So there will be a kind of an overview, and also I try to wrap up things so I can bring work with me and set up my laptop and stuff, so I can work both remotely and work on my laptop while I'm gone too. So but there's been a lot of real world stuff like visa, like passports and green cards and God knows what stuff like that have been, but it's okay. I got my green card again and renewed, and I'm going to go and this week going to get my new Swedish passport and stuff. So I'll hopefully be able to both get out of the country and then back in again. So I already got sure that I can get back in again. So
yeah, minorly important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But but since we are not going to have Legends and Lore this week, so I thought that will be I will have an extra mapping live stream this week instead. So both on Wednesday and Friday is the plan to have do some more extra work on my Twitch channel instead. So make up just a little bit of the loss of not having a Legends and Lore. Yep. But that was about it. Yeah.
So I apologize, but real life calls. I have an executive coming in for my work that I'm traveling with all day Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I'm going to dinner with him every night. So I am out on Wednesday and Thursday this week, unfortunately. Then comes Memorial Day weekend, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be out barbecuing that Sunday. So I don't even want to tell you what day the Gabbin's going to be. I may have one stream next week. It's not Todd Stashwick, Curtis. That's so funny. That you got me on that. No. So here's what's going on. So please note this week's going to be really upcoming light on stream content. June 3rd, these are the big events. June 3rd, Saturday morning, 9 a.m. The crew will be around the table, and we're going to run Tomb of the Lizard King. It's going to be an adaptation because I want to get it in 8 to 9 hours done. All right. And the Group Mega Patrol, that'll be our 1,000th ever adventure celebration. There you go. For that'll be on Saturday, June 3rd. After that, the Saturday evening, June 10th, is the great crossover event with Ed Greenwood, 3 members of Ed Greenwood's group and 4 members of the Slav Squad. And they're just going to have at each other like they always do in the adventure, I know. So and that'll be, that's an evening one, that's 6 p.m. So that'll be another fun one. A crossover event, and then the night after that, and Anna's gone then, right? Anna, you were out.
I'm gone on the 10th too. Yeah. So yep.
And then Sunday evening, the night after, Eric Munn is going to co-host with me as James Jacobs comes in, and we do the Savage Tide Adventure Path. That'll be a really good Gabbin.
That's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, 2 squats minimum. Yeah, it's perfect.
2 squats minimum, exactly. Yep. So that's what's going on. Let's do the giveaways.
I'm going to bow out, my friend.
Tim, see you, man. You have a good one.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye, Tim.
So let's see who wins. Last call, exclamation point drawing. Get in there. These are $10 digital
shoot.
gift certificates.
I gotta jet out too. I got my game to go to.
Well, have fun. Have fun at
Okay.
your game, man.
Yep.
Talk to you soon.
Great seeing
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
guys.
See
Bye,
ya.
guys.
So, yep. Here we go. We're going to do the drawings here, and then we will raid into Darling, who's on, and then we'll call it a night. And I'll see you when I see you. Hopefully, it'll be sometime next weekend. All the alternate, and it's good. Anna will be having a live apping stream on.
Oh yeah, I'll
Wednesday.
try
And Mike was
to
out
fill
too.
the shoes a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Greyhawk Mike was out as it was.
Yeah.
He was unavailable, so it kind of falls into place here. All right, let me close this out. See, and I will get you these codes sometimes tonight. I have these codes. So thank you, Chuck. Here we go. First winner. Blackfire, George. I'll get it to you. Then winner is Caesar. You're on a roll, man. There you go. Lexfire and Caesar. I will send them to you both in Discord. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lashara. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you.
For the kind words. So please just note, I'll be back. It's just real life. It's calls on this, and we got some great content coming up. I was on that interview with the Mexican Twitch channel before this. Thank you for those who participated in it. But they're all excited about playing just like Nerdy Guide is. I'm going to play with them on a Saturday morning on DM for them. So I play old school. Once again, another group of younger people who've never played old school D&D. And if you saw yesterday morning's game, they are like, when can we play again? When can we play again? So that's the whole thing. I'm trying to get another new generation into Greyhawk and to old school gaming. So thank you, everyone. We're going to raid into Darling. We'll see you all very soon. Hope you have a good night. Thanks, Anna. See you soon.
Yep.
Bye.
See ya.
Wrong button coming. Wrong button.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
There we go.
Look at that. 9:01. We didn't run super duper late tonight either. My voice is about had it because I was on that previous talk show beforehand.
Yeah, you've been on for hours.
Yeah. All right. Setting the rate up. That was a great discussion.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got a lot of really cool memories and tidbits in there.
Yep.
All right, awesome. 78, 79, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you sometime there next week. Bye. Awesome.
Yep, that was a good one.